this episode, then I'll be kind of glad because that means I still care,
Yeah.
because I knew Carl was going to die and I thought, oh man, that's kind of a bummer, but I'm not really feeling it. And then I saw the episode and I was crying like a baby.
You were crying like a baby.
Well,
okay. Does the fact that I didn't cry indicate
you're dead inside.
I no longer care, or B, that I'm a cold fish who is dead inside?
Did you feel nothing?
No. The thing is, I don't cry when I'm supposed to. I cry during happy moments and I cry during sad moments.
Okay, well, did you cry when Glenn died?
No.
Okay, so sad. There you go. Yeah, see, so you can't really say that's particular to this moment. It just means you're weird.
Yes. Hey, you know what? I'll totally own that.
But I mean, I felt sad. I didn't even cry at all the first time I watched it. I felt sad, and then the second time it got to me more. But there were moments throughout. It was, I mean, we'll get into it, but there were definitely a few moments that were hard hitting for me. And
yeah,
so
you're a dad. And you have two sons, and if one of substitute Nico or Bodhi for Carl, and it wouldn't take much to probably.
At this moment, Bodhi's kind of annoying, but no, I'm just kidding. But Nico, that'd be hard. Before we get into it, I want to mention that this episode and all episodes that we do are made possible by Patreon supporters like Mark Kirkman, who've pledged their support at patreon.com/Jason and Karen. So thank you, Mark. Mark is particularly engaged with this whole thing. This Friday, we're going to have our monthly call-in show. Last month, it was me and Rima, and we answered anonymously submitted inappropriate questions, and it was fun and embarrassing. And this time, it's going to be me and you, Karen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have Mexican food with my parents for lunch, and so I'll be good and hammered by the time we have the call-in show. So, yeah.
Are you ready?
Here's hoping.
I mean, we don't actually have to answer the questions. We just read them and then lie.
I can take a pass.
Yeah. But, then people will think less of you.
Well, I don't know.
You have to weigh whether you want to. Like, they asked me how much money I made last year.
Did they really?
Yeah. Inappropriate questions.
Yeah, that is an inappropriate
I answered
question.
it. They asked me if I could have a threesome with two cartoon characters. Who would they be?
What'd you say?
You got to join up with Patreon to find out.
I want to find out which two cartoon characters virtually got it on with Jason.
I'll answer. It was Jessica Rabbit and Betty Rubble.
You like the redheads?
No, Betty Rubble's a brunette.
Oh, it's
Wilma.
Wilma.
Oh, you're right. It should be Wilma. Why not? Anyway,
tall, cool drink of water.
At any level, you guys can get in on that, even if you just want to sign up for a month just to hear us talk about that. It's patreon.com/Jason and Karen. All right, let's get into the actual show.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, so I've talked enough. In general, what did you think of this episode?
I actually really liked it, and I think this might have been my favorite episode out of the entire season.
It was mine. I mean, I think this might be my favorite episode in a long time. It was good, right?
Yes, it was.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I was afraid you were just going to hate it and I was going to feel all alone, but
no, it was really good. I did not, there was nothing to hate. I mean, I didn't love the fact that Carl died.
Right.
In fact, it was super sad, but no, I thought there were a lot of things going for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not there's a difference between it's a good episode and I'm really happy all this shitty stuff happened. But,
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it worked on there's different segments to most Walking Dead episodes. There was everything with Carl, which was well done and structured nicely, going back over the same material, but with the knowledge that he had gotten bitten. There was the whole Gavin, Ezekiel, Carol, Morgan, exciting, and then stuff with Gavin, and then there was all the dreamy flash forward stuff, and I thought all of that worked really well.
It did. And it was Greg Nicotero who directed, and he did a great job directing. And I was wondering if this was the first one with the new showrunner.
No. No.
So she's not started. Angela Kang, the new showrunner, is not starting her run until the next season.
Right.
Okay. So this is still Scott and Gimple.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's do our top 5. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the introduction. I loved that Bright Eyes song.
Yeah. I love Bright Eyes, so it's nice because most of the music they play, I've never heard of the person. But this one, I recognized the singer right away. So I was like, yeah, cool.
Although they did play, I think it was the beginning of this season, they played a Boston song that I recognized right away. And they had a couple Tom Waits songs, which one of which I recognized right away. But yeah, the Bright Eyes song was perfect. And the Bright Eyes song, which is called At the Bottom of Everything, and you probably will talk about that a little bit more. But it was lovely. And it was, a nice little vignette of Carl's last day. Mm-hmm. And he does the things, and he's so sweet throughout. It was really nice to see. Like, he was very accepting. He wasn't pissed off or anything. Mm-hmm. He writes letters to people he loves, and he cuddles with Judith, and they put their handprints down on the porch.
That was one of the moments that got me, and I don't know if that has anything to do with me being a dad, maybe, but just him having a cute moment with his baby sister, and not only that, but I mean, I don't even know if she knew she was being filmed because she's the best actor on the show. She was just so cute and having, big smile with that high five. And I think she just thought she was playing with this cool dude that she works with or whatever,
Yeah. It was a very sweet and very real seeming moment. And then he takes a Polaroid selfie of the two of them together. And it looks like he was planting something. Maybe he was planting a tree. But it seemed like all these things he was doing to sort of leave them with a little bit of a legacy of him, which was nice.
And really it showed him getting bitten. So that was sort of satisfying to go back over that scene.
Answer the question.
And show it. Yeah. And then he looked at his shirt in the mirror. He was like, God damn it. And then he put it aside, puts his hat on, gives himself a nod. Like what you're saying, like he's so graceful throughout this.
Yep.
It reminded me of another death on the show. I can't remember it reminded me of Carl when Negan was going to make Rick chop Carl's hand off, and Nick was flipping out. I mean, Nick Grimes. And Rick was flipping out, and Carl was just very stoic about it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's consistent with his character. He's confronted with death, and he's just like, suddenly he has clarity and purpose and grace. And I was like, man, I hope if something like this happened with me, if I knew I had a few months to live or something, that I would have this kind of grace.
Yeah, he had about 12 hours or something very short.
Do you think you would?
No. I think I'd have a hard time.
Yeah.
I do not
I might try to fake it and then realize that that's bullshit. Like, I don't want to die.
And then the fact that later on in the episode, we can talk about it later. But anyway, the introduction and the very end, he hangs out with Sadiq, who, he doesn't seem to hold a grudge against Sadiq.
No, he loves Sadiq, and he feels like the message that Sadiq has is the right one.
Yeah,
and when they're together, they share a Big Cat candy bar, which is supposed to be like a Kit Kat, and it's the same candy bar or not the same exact one, but the same brand that Carl and Michonne shared when they were walking down the railroad tracks. So that's a little bit of a callback.
Yeah, very sweet.
You see him writing letters, and I think we can see Rick, Michonne, Judith, and Enid, and there may be others letters to him. I mean,
right. Where is Enid, by the way? Is she at Hilltop right now?
No, she's with Aaron, and she just shot a grandma.
That's right.
So we don't know what happened after that yet.
Man, she's going to come back and find out that, that's a bummer.
Carl's dead.
Yeah. But here's a letter.
But hopefully we'll get to hear what these letters are, I hope so. I think we will. We'll have people reading them.
I don't know. I think that they will all just say, thanks for being you. I love you. Blah,
Don't
blah,
get
blah.
bit.
By the way, did it seem like of all the ways to go, it seems like, and Carl's been shot twice.
Yeah.
To get bit by a zombie, I mean, it was kind of lame the way he got bit. He's pretty agile and he's very savvy at this point. I felt like, wow, that's really how he goes. He gets bit. I was bummed.
On Twitter a few weeks ago, Chandler tweeted out, "When you spend like 3 years in the apocalypse but die because you tripped and fell."
Exactly.
On one hand, I agree, but on the other hand, I think it is sort of believable that, people die for dumb reasons, like you step on a nail and you get tetanus, or, you try to be safe and then you get hit by a car. It's just like, it's not always everyone going out in heroic fashion.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I kind of liked it as far as that goes, that not everyone has to go out in this fantastically heroic fashion. But on the other hand, yeah, he should, especially there where he's like bracing himself against these walkers and he knows how to deal with this kind of a situation. He should know. So yeah,
I'm probably going to die in a really stupid way. Like I'm going to probably choke on a pot sticker.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. When I'm in the middle of laughing at my own joke, I'm probably going to choke on some food.
If you're laughing at my joke, then I'll feel honored.
Then it's okay.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
I'll try to make that work out.
Okay. How come Judith keeps getting older, but Maggie doesn't get any more pregnant?
we didn't see her yesterday. Maybe she's huge now.
Yeah, maybe she had
in
a
the
baby.
last day.
Maybe she's faking it. Yeah, I'm having Glenn's baby. I am.
Right. It's a mystery. Also,
yeah. Oh, and then they're like, well, why isn't it growing? And then she shoots you.
I said, shut up. Yeah. Same with Carl. I mean, Carl also, there's only supposed to be a couple years that have passed, and he's,
he's like 37.
20. Yeah.
That's why they had to kill him off. You're getting too old.
Dude, you're aging.
Yeah, stop it. Well, my number 5 is Carl's death. So the saddest moment for me was when he grabbed for his gun and he looked at Michonne and they shared a look and he goes, "I know, someone you love," which I found out is a callback to season 6 when Carl brought her zombie Deanna to her son Spencer for him to kill, and Michonne asked him why, and he said, "I couldn't kill her. It should be someone who loved her, someone whose family. I'd do it for you." So that was a callback. But then he's like, I have to do it myself, and I think that's the same thing he said when Maggie was going to shoot Lori. Carl said, "I have to do this." So that was a bit of a callback to that, and I thought that was a good decision that Carl was able to do it himself, so he spared Rick or Michonne from having to go through what he had to go through with
Which
Laura,
is a real kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so heartbreaking when you're looking at Rick sitting on the porch and Michonne behind him, and then you hear the shot and you just, that was bad. That's
the part, that's just kind of heartbreaking and not a good feeling watching the show. It's like, God damn it, Rick lost his son.
Yep.
And I was thinking, we've lost so many people on the show now. Somebody put up a picture that says Rick's Army, and it showed a bunch of the characters from the show. I think this was earlier on, but most of them were crossed out because they're dead. I got some names: Dale, Andrea, Tyrese, Jim, Amy, Glenn, Abraham, Beth, Lori, T-Dog, Sophia, Merle. It goes on and on. Lizzie, Mika, Bob, Sasha, Herschel. I mean, I could just keep on going and going. Shane. It's like I always thought that the show, if you watch it long enough, you would be kind of like a character in the zombie apocalypse where you get numbed to death.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like with Sadiq, I'm sort of like, well, I really like this guy, but I shouldn't get too attached because he's just going to die, you know?
Oh.
But I do feel sad, though, so I'm happy about that. Like, even now, after all this.
Yep. I didn't get numb to it. I'm glad to see
Yeah.
you didn't get numb to it
No,
either.
not yet.
Nope. You know, what's also sad about this is that Carl really was very much the, filling the role of the moral compass on the show.
Yeah.
And it's really, your odds go way down if you become the show's moral compass. You're basically doomed.
I don't know if that's going to be true anymore. Maybe it will, but it really feels like he's passed this on to Rick. Rick promised him, I'm going to do this. And Sadiq is a new character that also has a high moral compass vibe coming off of him. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to say, brother, do not talk about how we have to, spare people and be kind and moral because, man, the writers will write you off.
Yeah, like right now, the safest guy is Mr. Pull your intestines out of your bullet hole.
That was a gross moment. A wonderfully gross moment.
Yeah, I agree. At first, I was like, is that a little too much, like seeing Glenn's eyeball popping out? But I'm like, well, it's wonderfully gross. And also, it just shows how far gone Morgan is. So in that sense, it's almost not gratuitous because it's just, he's fucking nuts, you know?
He will pull your intestines out from your bullet hole. That, some serious, you don't cross Morgan at this point.
What goes along with Carl's death are some of his last interactions. It was really sad, him talking to Judith. Don't be sad, don't carry this with you. No, that's Michonne. Don't be sad, don't carry this with you. By the way, you're my best friend. That was nice to pay homage to their friendship.
Yep.
But you don't say, don't be sad, and by the way, you're my best friend. That's kind of mean, actually. It's going to make it even more sad. Gives Judith his hat.
Yeah.
Says having this always kept Dad with me and made me feel as strong as him. And then the whole thing of before Mom died, she told me I was going to beat this world. I didn't, but you will. I know you will. And then she starts crying. That was a sad moment.
Yeah.
And then the saddest though for me was to Rick. Thanks for getting me here, for making it so I could be who I wound up. I just thought that was a really nice thing to say.
Yeah. Exactly. And I also like the fact that when Rick was apologizing to him, saying it's a father's duty to keep you safe and I couldn't. And Carl says, no, it was your duty to love me, just to love me. Which is really,
and he said,
really
I love
sweet.
you so much.
Yeah, that was nice. It was nice. Last night he was on The Talking Dead. And so I got to see him with his cute little short haircut. And he looks great. And so don't you all worry. If you want to see him, go to The Talking Dead and watch that. And he's just fine and as adorable as ever.
He also cried at the thought of anything happening to Judith when he was telling Michonne, take Judith to Hilltop.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what happened to that because Michonne stayed back. But anyways, I guess Daryl took her.
Oh, Daryl took her. Yeah,
Okay.
Daryl says, I got her. It's okay. Because he knew that Rick and Michonne would want to be there.
But now I feel like Judith is his last hold on just keeping his purpose and sanity and not falling into despair. And Michonne.
And he also promised Carl
Right.
that for Carl's memory, that for his legacy, he would create something awesome.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he's going to grab the axe and get down to business.
You mean making buildings or killing Negan?
Both.
Both. Okay, what's your number 4?
Okay, so my number 4 was Carl too, and just everything we talked about, and how much I liked Chandler Riggs.
Yeah.
And it was fun to interview him when he was just a little kid when he started out, and I loved that, and he was just great. We also got to see Carl kiss Enid, right? So he got a kiss.
Yeah. I interviewed him just a few weeks ago on stage, And I asked him, is this whole experience, of dying on a show and then having people talk to you about it kind of like going to your own funeral? And he was like, no, I'm not dead. And he seemed a little taken aback by that, right? And I felt so bad. And then I read in an interview on Entertainment Weekly today, they said, when Steven Yeun said he died on the show, he said it was like being at his own funeral. Was it like that for you? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see the way it is. Maybe he's used to the question now or something.
Yeah, it is like that. I remember when Jason Kabassi was interviewing me, and I was kind of a jerk to him. But now, upon reflection, it is exactly like that.
Yeah, so kudos to Jason. But they edited that all out.
They
of the
probably did. Yes. Oh, can we talk about? Speaking of Carl, can we talk about Carl's fantasy of the future, or is that one of your numbers?
That's one of my numbers. Do you want to talk about it? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So Carl's fantasy of what the future would hold, and we find out that all those things that we've been seeing have been his hopeful vision for things to come, and all of it looked really lovely, except for I had a couple questions.
One little thing.
It's very nice that he imagined Eugene having all kinds of redemption. So yay. I hope Eugene does have redemption still. But then there is the guy in the tomatoes. A little guy known as Negan. And hey, Carl, if you can forgive Negan, bully for you. I do remember how you were trying to sneak into the sanctuary, however many episodes ago that was, in the back of the truck in order to single-handedly kill Negan. So I know you wanted that, but now you envision it to be like this happy, wonderful thing. Okay, great. Personally, I don't see how there can be that kind of redemption for Negan. Maybe there can, but I don't see it. There.
So I thought you were a bleeding heart liberal.
I am.
But not for assholes.
Well, Negan has crossed that line.
Yeah,
and
I
think that I'm not saying that Negan has to die a slow and painful death, but it would be hard to imagine him becoming a happy tomato grower with the rest of the gang. I picture him. I don't know what happens, folks. I have no idea what happens, but in my likely scenarios, which actually isn't that likely because let's face it, I don't write the comic, but here's what I think what would happen at this point is that somehow Negan either dies or runs far, far away to become somebody else's problem.
It is much later, I think, because Rick is gray.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Yeah.
Later,
but he hasn't died and he hasn't run away. I just don't see him integrating into the community after all this time. I don't see how everybody could go, you know what? Negan's a great guy. And look at those tomatoes.
he grows these great big juicy tomatoes. Okay, well that didn't really cross over too much, so I'm going to wait until I get to
Groovy.
it.
Okay.
So my number 4 we already talked about. It's all Carl's actions throughout this episode. So now we're on number 3.
All right, number 3. I'm going to say Carol. She is my number 3. She is still an awesome badass. And she's just wonderful. I loved that she has this moment with the woman whose name I can never remember. She has a name that I can't remember. Anyway, she's talking to her and she's telling her, go to the cottage, second house on the right, whatever.
I don't know her name either.
Yeah. And she says, the woman says, you versus all of them, meaning the saviors. And Carol says, yes. And then she says, they don't stand a chance. And I'm like, they didn't.
Right.
They absolutely didn't, because Carol is an awesome...
Morgan helped,
100%.
Kind of a
and
lot.
then eventually King Ezekiel helped. But she's just fabulous. And I love her. She's so transformed to how she was the first couple seasons, and now she's just stealthy ninja.
Yeah.
So
I got to go
Carol.
pull some clips when you used to say you wish they would just kill her off.
Yes, you can absolutely.
But she has transformed. Yeah, I don't argue with that.
And now I love her. You know what? She has been burned into my heart ever since saving everybody at Terminus.
Any
And
chance Negan in 3 years might undergo the same transformation in your heart?
there's always a chance.
I doubt it, but I'm just putting it out there.
You know what? It wouldn't be the same transformation because
Carol never
Carol
beat anybody
was-
over the head with a bat.
no, the thing that was annoying about Carol was, things like she seemed a little namby-pamby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's different than being a brutal killer and a rapist.
Yes, and she didn't end my Glenn, unlike
yeah.
some Negans I know of.
One in particular. I liked when Carol was yelling at that poor kid, Henry, after he, like, you were supposed to stay at the cottage. This wasn't what you were supposed to do. After he just killed the guy, it's like, dude, I wonder if she used to yell at Sophia like that.
Right, exactly.
It's like she's gonna all of a sudden be like, God damn, I gotta kill another kid. All right, Henry, look at those flowers over there.
A, you're grounded. B, look at the flowers.
Look at those nice flowers. No, I agree. She's awesome. Okay, my number 3 is just the whole segment in the sewer. I liked them all waiting in the sewer quietly in this dim light, hunched down, and with these explosions going off.
Yes.
With dirt coming down, and just hiding and hoping that Negan doesn't discover them. That was really tense. And then deciding whether they should poke their heads up and try to run, and Dwight's telling them no, but I don't know. And he seems like he didn't know for sure either. And I mean, I thought maybe they could pretend to leave and still be hiding up there. You know, the saviors.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, you know what? Stay down there. It's really nice and safe down there. Stay down there as long as you can.
Yeah,
like, don't,
and that
don't
turned
poke
out to
your
be
head.
the right thing.
It did.
And I couldn't tell what Daryl was clutching to him because it was so dark. I'm like, what is that? Looked like his girlfriend or a doll or something, but
Wasn't it
It
Judith?
was Judith. I found it later on. But I was like, because he kept turning away. He's growling. It seems like his growling's just getting even more ridiculous lately. He's like, you saved all these guys, Carl. You did it.
This is all you.
It's all you, man. It's all you. But anyway.
Judith.
I didn't have a whole lot to say about that, but I just thought the vibe of that was really nice and something that I don't know if we've seen a lot on the show, so it was kind of fresh.
And they've got candlelight, and they've got, and you also get the sense that it's almost like they're in the London Underground during the bombings.
Yeah,
and
you've got Carl about ready to die, so that adds this whole somberness to it.
About ready to die. I was thinking, God, what if he dies under there? They're gonna have to unzombify him quickly before he gets bitey.
Yeah, and Chandler Riggs said he didn't want to be a zombie. He's glad he didn't have to.
Oh,
yeah,
fascinating. Why wouldn't you want to be a zombie? That's the double header everybody wants.
It's in the news. I forgot exactly what he said, but it's in the news. So
all right, we'll find out. There's a little tease for everybody.
Yeah. Number 2.
All right. Sadiq. I love him, and I love him for a lot of different reasons. One of the things that I love is I love real life diversity on this show, and having a character who is a person of color, and he's not a doctor, but he's a resident, so he's useful for the community. He seems really nice, and he has a strong moral compass, which we've already decided is probably deadly.
Yeah.
I hope not. He seems like a good guy, and he really seemed to genuinely care about Carl, and maybe he wants to fit in with the community. So I liked I won't talk about this too much. In Carl's fantasy of the future, Sadiq's there.
He's in there,
yeah, which made me really happy. So I liked him, and I hope he's becomes a permanent cast member. That is
Me too. Yeah, one thing there is the whole possible impending doom of being a moral compass, but in his favor is he's new and probably has a long contract on the show. So he's been cemented into this low-paying next few years where AMC doesn't have to shell out to keep him around.
Right. Exactly.
And if he becomes a fan favorite at the end of that contract, that might be a different story.
Yep.
A resident is basically, it is a doctor. You can have an MD, but you're still in training.
Oh yeah, Jenny was a resident.
Yeah, I think all doctors are residents when they first start, and they don't make as much money, but they still do doctor stuff, so he still knows.
He is a very good person to have there if he's got his MD. That is a wonderful thing.
One thing about him, I like him too, and I said this before, but he almost kind of looks like Glenn to me, and he puts off a Glenn vibe, the way he acts and his whole outlook and everything. He seems a little more nervous, but similar.
Yeah.
But when he was talking to Carl about how, thank you for bringing me here, I can't repay you, but I'll honor you by showing your people that what you did wasn't for nothing and it meant something, and I'm going to honor you and all that. I'm like, that's great, but this kid has about 10 minutes to live, and his friends and family are all waiting to talk to him, and they don't really know you, and I like you, but don't hog his time, like,
pal.
That's how, because Daryl just got a few words and then left, and I'm like, God, can't Daryl give him a hug or something?
Well, and then Tara just was like, later.
Yes. Nice knowing you.
I was surprised. I'm like, this is Carl. You people, do you see this guy dying? This is your chance to say goodbye.
What if Tara said, so long, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya?
That would be awesome.
Sounds like something she'd say.
It does.
Where are we?
Smell you later.
We're on number 2.
You
just did yours. So mine is the whole Morgan, Carol, Gavin, Ezekiel. You already talked about Carol. Carol and Morgan made a great team, just going through there, knocking people off. Morgan got really stabby with his stick, yeah.
Yep.
And the way he would stab a guy a couple of times from different angles, it felt efficient, but also a bit sadistic.
Uh-huh.
And then reaching through that bullet wound felt kind of crazy. And the way he had to like hold back from killing Gavin, which I thought after what we just saw was a little bit unbelievable. Actually, when Gavin started taunting him, I would think he would just stick him in the face, not wait and struggle with it, but whatever.
They were bringing him back. I mean, clearly Ezekiel and Carol got to him. He was listening to them. Yeah. And I don't know that he would have killed
Gavin.
He
said, I have to.
Right, but he didn't.
Well, here's the thing is he had him on the ground and he had the spear right up to him. And before Ezekiel or Carol said anything, Gavin said, you can do this, but it's not going to change anything in the morning, or you're still going to be in a shitty situation. That was before they said anything. And then he said, get up, and conveniently placed him in a spot where the kid could kill him. So at that point I was like, why doesn't he just stab him? He's stabbing everything that moves.
Yes,
because we know Gavin.
Yeah,
but whatever. I mean, I didn't mean to complain. I mean, I think all this stuff with Morgan is pretty awesome to watch, even though it's horrifying at the same time,
because Lenny James can sell it. He's so good. Yes,
absolutely. Then Ezekiel trying to turn Gavin around. And Gavin said something like, I don't like this, right? And I'm like, yeah, Gavin, we know. Like almost everything you've ever said on the show indicates that you're doing this reluctantly. And the look on your face.
Right, exactly. Gavin struck me as the kind of character that could be rehabbed.
Mm-hmm. I thought so too, but I was hoping not, because I thought that would be a little too saccharine. Mm-hmm. And Ezekiel's trying to get him to, and we know he has been reluctant about it, but I like that he firmly planned it down, like Negan can't be defeated, and I just want to put my head down and make it through without making any waves.
Right. And he actually said to King Ezekiel, dude, I liked you. You got it. You understood how things were. You understood how the bureaucracy works, and you got us what we needed, and things were working out. And why can't we just go back to that?
Yeah.
Why can't we just go back to Negan's rule where you came and you delivered, and every week you delivered, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, it wasn't working out that well for Ezekiel.
That's so common. People want to put their head down and just go along with the system, even when the things aren't great in the system. And I think we've all probably been in that situation. I know when I worked at Apple, people were like that. Like they told me, don't talk to Steve Jobs because he might ask you what department you work in, and then he'll come and stir things up. So he says, if you ever see Steve Jobs, just go the other way.
Run.
I wanted to engage, but they were all afraid. So anyways, then
he'll come to your group with a stick. It'll get ugly.
You could say Gavin died because of karma for being just weaselly and not brave, but everyone dies on the show, so I don't know.
Yes. Right, exactly. You start going down that road, it gets ugly.
So that's it.
One thing about Morgan is that the only real complaint I have is that, and I love Lenny James. I will follow him anywhere he goes. He's amazing. And one of my complaints is that they don't let him talk with a British accent, because Lenny James is complete to me in my heart when he has his English accent on. That's the first thing, but I understand that the character doesn't have an English accent.
Also, one good thing about Morgan, or Lenny James with Morgan, is often his most powerful scenes are when he's not saying anything.
Right.
Like Gavin's sitting here begging him not to kill him, and he's just standing there still, and it's like so packed with energy.
Yeah, exactly. But I wish they didn't make it so that he was either a monk or a Zen monk or a stone cold killer. Like, I wish there was a middle ground that they would let him find eventually. Like,
Maybe
there's a middle way, hun.
I kind of like it. I like that he was our hero for a while there, just having such reverence for life. But then it became clear that it was like, I think I mentioned this one time before, but it's kind of like when you're on a diet and then you have one cookie and it's like, fuck it, and you just start cramming
and you're the
mouth.
Cookie Monster, shoveling all the cookies into your cookie hole. Yeah.
Clear these cookies.
Do you think is that the last we're gonna see of him this season? You think he's gonna watching Henry, this kid he mentored, do you think that this will totally flip him out?
What are you asking? If what?
Morgan.
What about him?
Watching Henry, this kid, because you the look on Morgan's face after Henry shoved the spear through Gavin's neck, the look on Morgan's face was like, oh man, here's this nice kid, and the nice kid is now a stone cold killer also. That would flip Morgan out, and that, if I were Morgan, I don't know how well I would take that. Carol didn't take it well, but it was more like, you broke curfew. but
you're
for
in
Morgan,
trouble, buddy.
I could see where Morgan would take that much harder, because this sweet little kid, and actually that's my number one, is Henry. Henry, apparently he is so stealthy. He snuck up in front of Carol, Ezekiel, and Morgan, but behind Gavin. He snuck up with this spear and then shoved it through Gavin's neck and was like, I had to. Even though if he was listening, he could hear Carol and Ezekiel, two figures who he respects, say, no, don't kill him, because they were trying to convince Morgan not to. But here's this unarmed guy who has completely surrendered, and Ezekiel and Carol are both saying, spare this guy to Morgan, and the kid still comes up, sticks his spear through the neck. And I thought, you know what? That it just seemed, it was a troublesome scene and a troublesome thing that I hope they don't turn all these kids into little cold psychos.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was kind of the point. And I think that's why I was so glad that Carl referred back to that moment at the prison where he killed that kid, because that's
he
the moment
it.
where I felt the same about him. That, oh, he's going to be a little psycho boy. And we talked about it. And we argued whether or not this other kid was going to shoot him and he should have trusted him, or he was, and I forget, I think you and I both came down on the side that Carl probably shouldn't have shot him, but some of the listeners thought he was in trouble. And so it was really interesting to hear Carl say he was putting his gun down, like, oh, he knew that kid was going to surrender and he shot him anyways. And then he said, and so I always kind of wondered, well, how did Carl get from that to being a pacifist? But he explained it. He said when Rick came back and put his gun down and basically became a farmer, that's when he showed Carl the way. And so it makes, they're at least trying to make sense of Carl's mindset. And to have that interspersed with this little kid killing this guy, and even Morgan struggling with whether he should kill while Carl is explaining to Rick, look, we need to try this new way. Was effective, and who knows where they're going to go with it, but I liked it.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, hopefully somebody can help show Henry, okay, here's the difference. Here's why it's
looking at those flowers. If you can't teach him.
Not for long, though.
Nope, just for 1 second.
Right.
Okay. My number one is the future visions and what we think this might actually portend for the future of the show. So the dream that Carl is imagining, I actually kind of wonder if when they did that at the beginning of season 8, is that what they had in mind? Or did they, in between now and then, decide that Chandler had to leave the show and so switch it up? Because Chandler was in it in season 8. But, I guess if he had been thinking of this before he died, that he would imagine himself in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even Greg Nicotero, who directed that first episode, said he didn't know at the time that that's what it was.
That's interesting. Well, if Greg Nicotero didn't know that it was Carl's vision of the future, it sounds like they just assigned it later, but it works.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know. I'm not saying that. I mean, maybe they just didn't tell him, They just said, we want this to be a dreamy vision.
Yeah. But it works. It works. And you could imagine that maybe Carl did envision something wonderful with himself in it. And then later on, in this episode, he was still imagining that future, but the future did not have him in it.
No, Negan instead.
The tomato farmer.
So he says to Rick, you have a beard. It's bigger and grayer. Michonne's happy. Judith is older, and she's listening to the songs that I used to. Alexandria's bigger. There's new houses, crops, and people working. Everybody living, helping everybody else live. If you can still be who you were, that's how it could be. It could. So this is good. It's providing a vision to strive for.
Yep.
It's not just telling Rick, hey, we're all going to have to do something after this, so be nicer and don't just kill everybody. But it's like, look, this is what we could achieve. This is a good thing. Like Carl, if he were alive, he could be a good politician. Like giving somebody something nice to strive for.
Yeah, here's a vision for what our future could be. It could be this wonderful place. We don't have to be killing machines. We don't have to be fighting all the time. We could have something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Which, quite frankly, Alexandria had for a long, long time until our heroes showed up.
Yeah. They tried to make it seem like that would have fallen apart anyway, because all those Zeds would have come out of the quarry or whatever.
I'm shrugging my shoulders. You can't hear me, but I am shrugging my shoulders.
Yeah. And then I liked what?
I think it's funny when Gavin told King Ezekiel everything was fine until Rick showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, truth.
Yep. Well, In this case, that just means
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
should follow Negan. So I really liked when Rick said, "It was all for you, Carl, at the farm, at the prison." And I think he's saying, now that you're gone, I don't know how I can continue. But instead he goes, nothing's going to change that. And that means I'm going to do this stuff in honor of you.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to make it real, Carl. I promise. I'm getting sad just thinking about it. And it did make me feel a little bit more like, okay, I guess I can buy into this thing that Scott Gimple has been saying about Carl's death meaning something for the show. In fact, maybe this is the death that to me has felt the most like, yeah, this is really going to mean something, because you could feel in Rick, he's really going to change for Carl. He promised him, and that's going to mean something to Rick, or you would think, So I really like that.
Remind me, were Rick and Lori talking when Lori died?
No, Rick wasn't there. He found out when Carl came out. Oh, no, they weren't. But they were estranged.
They were in a fight.
He was doing stuff and things. Yeah, they were in a fight. So that was bittersweet. Or not even sweet at all. It was just bitter. Like, oh my God, they were unfinished. They
didn't get a chance to say, I love you, make this place wonderful, take care of the baby, take care of Carl, blah, 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 blah. They never got that moment. But it's nice that Carl got that moment with Rick. Okay.
Yeah. And I was okay with Lori and Rick not having it, because it was just, I don't know, something deliciously sad about that. Oh my God, I bet he wishes he would have been nicer to her, or something.
Is that after that, then did he hear the telephone ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he saw Ghost Lori.
Ghost Lori, right.
Yeah. So next week, Carl in a white dress. So then we have this, at some point, I think in the future, we see, and we've seen scenes of this before, Rick sitting by a tree under the stained glass.
Yes.
Now we see he's wounded. He's got a bloody hand. Yep. Some people said it looked like he had a wooden arm. I couldn't tell. I don't think so, but blood around the ribs. What do you think this is? Is he dying? What's going on here?
I have in my notes the last scene with Rick by the hanging stained glass windows. What the fuck? There.
All right, let's move on to the news. No, I'm just kidding. Well, we don't know. I mean, I think that's the point, that we're not supposed to know. And this is a teaser for something. But he keeps talking about, mercy prevails over my wrath, which sounds like he's trying to take what Carl's saying to heart. Okay. And I speculated before, well, if he's showing mercy, now we see Negan in this garden, that maybe it has something to do with fighting with Negan and not killing him. But it doesn't quite go with the vision, which there's nobody around except for Rick, and he's wounded and seems kind of like shell-shocked.
Yep.
So, I mean, one of the listeners said, can you guys please talk about this? Because we really don't know what to make of it. And all I can say is I think this is just, I think it's a flash forward, and that we're not supposed to know what to make of it, but that we're supposed to wonder, and then we'll see, I'm sure, by the end of the season.
Agreed.
But I also read in an article in John Milton's poem, Paradise Lost, the red right hand refers to God's vengeance.
Ooh.
And so when you couple that with Rick talking about mercy, my mercy prevails over my wrath, maybe that is kind of tied in. And I think that's
fascinating. That if that's a vision of the future, it could go either way, but hopefully it will go towards mercy.
Yeah. And when asked about this scene, Nicotero, who directed the episode, just said that we'd get more answers on it later, too. So he's saying the same thing. Just hold tight.
It's tease. Pretty stained glass hanging down. I thought about that as a decorating choice.
I'm not sure why you'd have a... Well, it's not really a window. I think it's more of a piece of art.
Yeah. But it looked like it was hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
Or something. Who knows?
So what are your notes?
Well, that was one of my notes. And I think I actually even mentioned all my notes. So
okay,
that's it. What are yours?
Well, I saw and loved the Black Panther, as you know, if you heard my review from last episode. So seeing Michonne now, first time I've seen her in an episode, I'm like, why is this big movie star in this show?
And famous playwright. Yeah.
Yeah.
She
needs to get out of this.
She's a triple threat. She could get, eventually she could get an Emmy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Tony.
Yeah. Triple threat there.
And she, I could see her at some point just becoming the leader of all the people on the show, you know?
Yeah.
Or leaving to do big movies or something, but we'll see. Oh, one thing that came to light is in the early part of this episode, Morgan was up training his gun down on the Savior's compound sanctuary. And then the Saviors started shooting, because that was when they were trapped inside. And we never found out how they got out until now. They were shooting at the walkers, and Morgan or somebody on the walkie-talkie said they have there's more walkers than there is ammo, so they're wasting their ammo. But then it became clear that what they were doing is shooting the right ones that would fall and create a barrier that the other ones couldn't. I mean, God, could you really do that? I don't know, but maybe you could. Anyway, that's how they got out.
In the show, it looked like this perfect little path.
Right.
That they carved
like a nice
out.
little prim zombie path. So that's how they got out. And I guess that was Eugene's idea, because they kept saying that Eugene helped them get out.
Yeah.
And then last note is people are noting that there was quite a long time between when Carl got bitten and then turned. I don't know. Maybe it was that same day, but still it was at least I would say 8 or 9 hours at least.
Yep.
And we saw Kingdom guys who got mowed down by the Saviors turned into zombies or walkers just a couple of minutes at most. So in season 1, Dr. Jenner said we had reports of it happening in as little as 3 minutes. The longest we heard of was 8 hours. So Carl could have been.
Yep.
But
on the longer side.
I always maintain that it just takes as long as whatever would have the most dramatic impact. That's how long it takes.
Exactly. It's whatever the writers need. It's that length of time.
But for people complaining, it has been established early on in the show that it can vary from minutes to hours. So.
According to Dr. Jenner at the CDC before he exploded the place.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a little break. There's more to come. Let's talk about Fracture.
Woo.
So Carl is just a character on a TV show, but it's still sad for most of us to see him go. A lot of times The Walking Dead is a sad and heavy show, and I see our podcast as a counterbalance to that. You know, we're kind of a support group, but also we're a lighter take. We have fun with it. And I don't think you and I ever talked about it being that way. We never set out to, hey, let's be a lighter. Yeah, it just kind of how we are. But
we like zombies.
But it's good, because I think people I don't know if they do, but I do. Like sometimes you see a show and it's like, oh man, that guy just got his eyeball popped out, and then we talk about it and try to have fun, you know. But anyways, you got to deal with heavy stuff in life sometimes too, but it's also important to balance that with focus on the light to celebrate and appreciate. So what the hell does any of this have to do with Fracture? Well, I finally did what I've been saying I was going to do, and I ordered my first Fracture of my little 1-year-old Bodhi.
Oh.
And it's this picture of him just with this big ear-to-ear smile. And I showed you. Can you describe it?
It is so cute. Here, I'm holding it up. It is the cutest. He looks like a little stuffed animal himself, because he's so dang cute, and he has this big smile on his face with tiny little baby teeth coming through, which is adorable. And he's holding a green stuffed animal upside down, which is also super.
It's a Snoopy bunny.
It's so cute. It is so cute. And he just looks like he's the happiest kid in all the land.
Yeah.
And I
can
just
see the
love
endorphins
him.
swimming around in his brain.
Yep. That's exactly it. Were you saying something to him at that moment? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was just being goofy, and I forget exactly what, but
you're good at making your kids smile.
I can make him laugh. And when I look at that picture, I smile, and it fills my heart with love.
Aww.
And now that I'm getting a fracture of it, it's going to be a marker of Bodhi at this age for us, just before he turned 1, and I'm always going to have it. And it's just such a happy thing. So this is just a small example of a way that you can bring some happiness and light into your life. Get a fracture made of a picture like this.
Yep.
And it'll help, balance out the sadnesses in life.
I agree.
if you want to do this, I didn't even explain what a fracture was, but I figured by this time tons of you people probably already know. But just in case there's one or two that don't, you upload your photo and then it comes back printed on this beautiful little pane of glass, and it has everything you need to hang it. So it's just super easy and simple to do, and it's beautiful. And if you guys want to get one, go to fracture.me. If you are a first-time customer, you can enter code DEAD15 at checkout for a 15% off. That's fracture.me and enter code DEAD15 for 15% off.
Thanks, Fracture.
Thank you, Fracture.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
Okay, we have a lot of news, but I'm going to try to go through it quickly. First, about Chandler's response. I told you he tweeted that thing about kind of being snarky about how he died.
Yes.
But
oops.
The day of the premiere, the night of the premiere, mid-season premiere, he said, "None of us could have done this without you. It was always for the fans and always will be. So thank you for giving me this chance to let me pursue my dream and continue to make you angry, sad, happy, and everything in between. I won't let you down."
Oh, that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, Chandler.
So here's an interview with him and Hollywood Reporter. They ask, "You've had months to sit with a response to Carl being killed off. What has surprised you about the reaction to the mid-season finale?" He says, "Honestly, the amount of love and support that the fans have given the character, it's incredible to see how much everyone adored this character, loved him, and related to him. It's really amazing to see the massive support that I got through it." They say, "This was an incredibly emotional farewell episode. What was it like filming this episode?" "It was really sad because it was my last episode and everything, but it was also bittersweet in a way because I really loved my time on the show and it was really unfortunate to go. But I'm also excited to go do other things. I made the decision to move to LA and do more of my own thing, like movies and things like that. I was excited to do all that stuff that I had never really done before. It was unfortunate that I had to leave, but I was still excited for what comes next." He's kind of stoic like his character.
Yes. Yeah, and good for him. He's seeing the bright side. How old is he?
Oh, how old is he? Gosh.
Like 19, 18?
I think he's 16, but I could be wrong.
No, he was going off